Hello, I'm ABX and welcome back to the video. Today let's talk about building in Minecraft. This is a lot of people's favourite aspect of the game, and whether it's building, giant cat faces or building diamond blocks or dogs, everyone loves to build something because it's a great rewarding experience that allows you to express yourself and all these other things that make Minecraft such a successful game. However, one big problem people tell me very often is the fact that they're not really sure what to build or where to start, and they know they want to build in Minecraft, but they're just not really sure what. And I figured in today's video, because that is such a serious issue, I would teach you how to hashtag make building fun again, and hopefully you all enjoys this video going over exactly that. I remind you can like the video if you do like it, because it helps out the channel a lot, and let's say you do like these sorts of videos and want to see more building related stuff on the channel. But with that said, let's get straight into the first way that you can make building a fun experience that you kind of want to get straight into again. And this one will sound really weird and maybe redundant, but basically instead of trying to find the newest, biggest build to make and really impress everyone over and over again, why not just try and build something you've already built, but in a new world or in a new place or in a new way, really? Because the thing about existing builds is that you've probably had fun with something in the past. If my example would be like a llama I built for the back for the 1.11 stuff, I built a giant llama for the videos there, and I really enjoyed building that llama. I thought it was a great result, so I'm going to build the llama again here in my PS4 world. My PS4 world doesn't have many builds around here, so why not have a giant llama right next to the weird floating whatever this thing even is. So yeah, that's what I'm going to start doing right now. I'm going to build myself a giant llama, and we're going to make a couple of changes to it, and it's going to be roughly the same experience, but it's going to look better. It's going to be in a better place. Like, I think this is better real estate for a llama, and then we can work with that later. But the first thing I'd recommend is picking a build you really like and trying to build it again. So let's speed through this right now. Okay, so we finished the llama, or just about the llama. There's a couple of big mistakes. First of all, I didn't really know how to make the back legs, so I figured, does this llama need back legs? Who's focusing on the back legs for llama? So we've got the improved version of llama with no back legs, with a black band, which for some reason makes it look more male. I'm not sure how that works. And also his ears, because I couldn't get them to work. I figured, why not make them, like levitating ears, like, they're pointing upwards. So this is a llama flying by the ears. And isn't this wonderful? Isn't this a thing that, I already roughly knew how to make? Again, this is just what I could, roughly build. I think this was a fairly good job for something I just made up in my head. I mean, it's a bit blocky, but again, if you ignore all of those things, I think it's a fairly good job for just a random recreation of build. I had a lot of fun building it, and now we've got this weird, unique, it would be better if it wasn't me and, I could remember how to build it, but, this could be a better version, or it could be a more unique version, and that's why recreating stuff is actually a surprisingly fun thing to do. I really do recommend it, because now, assuming I have autosave on, but, assuming something horrible doesn't go wrong, I now have a llama in this world too, which I can then use for part 2 of this video, the second way you can make building fun again, which is to actually combine existing builds. So yeah, I've done this a couple of times before, and it's usually not the most successful thing, but it is something that's always fun to do, and it's something that has a it has an amusing result in my opinion. And because this video is all about fun, it's not about how to make the best builds in the world, what I figured we should do is we should combine something with this llama to kind of make it all make sense. So the back legs would be a logical place to start, because that's a thing, but I don't have many back legs that make sense here. Maybe I could have some wolf back legs and just have some tiny little legs, but I think it would be way funnier than that. Although actually, maybe I should do that too, put the wolf tail on. But yeah, what I figured will be funnier is if we just remove the head altogether, or remove the facial details, and instead put the wolf over there, because that's the only other animal I have lying around. Let's try and put that, face from the wolf onto that llama. So we're going to do that right now, and we're going to make a wolf we're going to make a wolf armor, a llama. There's a lot of different ways you can combine their names, but that's what we're going to try and make right now, because combining builds together is a lot of fun. You'd be surprised, and let's hopefully prove it with this llama/dog combo. just a quick little pause here. This is halfway in between the llama face and the dog face, and I don't know, I feel like this is almost perfect alone. We've almost got we've almost got a perfect combo without doing everything else. But yeah, let's continue. Let's show what it looks like with just the llama body and the dog, or roughly a dog head. Okay, so the llama, or dog llama, is now complete. We can work on the branding later, but as you can see, even though this might look, objectively ooh, this isn't the artiest thing in the world, I really love this thing, and I think it makes a perfect, thing going next to the weird centaur Simpsons man thing. I really quite like the way this is ended out, honestly. It's the face, again, it just looks kind of ridiculous. The back legs, again, I don't know, the way everything in this, combines together to make an animal that you could almost believe was made in a real mod or something is something I think is rather impressive. And because the whole thing's floating, guess what? That makes it make even more sense. It's the floating dog armor that can float and that can follow you around. So yeah, I guess that's dog armor It's a big dog llama. He's got the body of a llama and the face of a dog, and he flies through the air because he has a dog face. Dog face. Anyway, but that's a very vague reference most of you won't get. But with that said, let's get straight into the third way that you can have fun building again. Because if you don't want to build your existing stuff, and you don't want to combine builds because you think, you know what, Toycat, do we really need more abominations like this in the world? I understand your viewpoint, because maybe, just maybe, you want to move on to the next way to improve your building, which is to really experiment with lots of tiny, random, small things. So yeah, the way all of this stuff came about is I started experimenting with like, oh yeah, let's just fill in a little bit of desert, and then I was like, let's have a tiny mountain over here, and then the tiny mountain grew into like this. It's not a big mountain, but it's like a medium-sized mountain. That then I then expanded a little bit more and added the colors in, and I quite like the way this mountain has turned out, at least in my opinion, and I kind of like the way this has turned out too. Like all of these terrain features, they started small, and then I figured, let's just keep on going with it until it goes somewhere. And honestly, that's a pro tip that let's do it right now. For instance, like these are meant to be like almost hoodoo style things, and honestly, I think they look pretty bad. I think in comparison to everything else around here, these things are pretty terrible. Like they're meant to have a look that they just really don't have. So let's try and build one right now and just exemplify why building small is a good thing. Because even in the space of, so let's just remove everything we have here. Even in the space of a video this short, in the space of like, let's call it 2 or 3 minutes, we can experiment like maybe 2 or 3 different times of how to make this kind of hoodoo work, and I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to do that. So let's just grab a few basic blocks, hardened clay, sandstone, etc., and let's just give this a better try. So I think the problems we have here is it's a bit too square. It's probably got the wrong like height ratio. Like that one's a bit better, but still not. We're not perfect with either of them. So let's try, instead of going for a square shape, to go for a bit more of like a triangular one, but not like a perfect triangle. So we're talking like it starts looking like a triangle, but then it goes like that maybe, and then it cuts across, and there we go. That's our rough triangle shape. And then instead of being like we're gonna go up perfectly in this even increments with this amount of blocks, let's just make it vaguely fade in and just keep playing around until something makes sense. So again, we're just gonna keep covering this in orange clay, and then we'll go for another layer of sandstone, and so on and so forth, and we'll just see how this again roughly ends out. So we'll go for some orange clay this layer, throw some sandstone on top. I really am just like throwing the blocks wherever they go. I hope this isn't too disastrous, but even if this turns out perfectly horrible, which statistically it probably will, right? Because not everything goes amazingly. The fact that we're trying with this and we're kind of experimenting should give the whole thing a little bit of a flair. Like it should mean the whole thing, it's not going to be perfect, but we're going to learn like something a bit more about what does make perfect from this whole experience, hopefully anyway. It could be so bad that we're just going to look at it and say, let's just not have that around. But there we go, there is a hoodoo, and I think this one, maybe with a couple of improvements, like maybe that, let's just move all of those blocks. But yeah, I think this hoodoo is maybe put one back there. I think this hoodoo is a little bit better than the one we just did over there. It's again, it's got a better kind of ratio. I think it's a bit square and round over here, so we remove a few blocks from over there, we add a few more, and just again make it feel a little bit less square and round and stuff. But if we then do this sort of stuff, and then we remove a block from over there, I think the whole thing just gets a whole better feel. And you compare it to this one, this is just a weird square all around, whereas this is a lot better. And what did that take me, like 2 minutes to experiment with it? It's not perfect. I think if we deconstructed this and tried again, we'd get even better. But if let's try that right now. In fact, actually, I'm sure like hoodoos is a very specific thing, but with anything you're building, try and build it small. Don't go straight into one this sized or one way bigger, because usually these are meant to be even bigger than this one. Try to go small and then work up from there, and I think you'll have way better results. If you want to build a mountain, instead of just being like, okay, I'm going to build a 100 by 100 mountain straight away, instead build one that's maybe like 7 blocks wide. Like, okay, here's my mountain, let's see how well we can make the cliff face. Because most people, when you try to make a mountain, what you're going to do is you're going to try and you're just going to have a staircase, because like, oh yeah, that's how mountains work, they go up in a staircase like this, right? And this is actually a bad idea, because a staircase doesn't make a hugely exciting mountain to look at. It doesn't even really look like a mountain, it looks like a staircase. So you gotta learn, like, oh yeah, so how do we make this look better? I guess we throw some random blocks in there, we have some extra inclines, and make it go a little bit around there, and if you do that, then suddenly that looks a bit more like a mountain, even though we just put 6 blocks on there. But if you experiment small with this stuff, you can understand the concept way better later on, and it's the sort of thing where spending 10 minutes now can save you hours in the future. And that's one of my favorite things, as I've mentioned 100 times. Work smarter, not harder, and the easiest way to do that is to experiment small. I think experimenting really sucks, because you have to really focus on what you're doing, but it'll make the next few hours of what you're doing a lot more fun, and hashtag make building fun again and all that. So with that said, let's move on to the fourth way you can make building fun, which is to try and use different blocks that you don't already use. This is something I feel like again it's the sort of thing where a lot of people are kind of stuck with the blocks they like because there are only so many blocks in Minecraft that look good, right? You know, like stained clay, it's pretty good. You know, coal blocks, they're okay. The wood blocks, they're okay. But like, what is that all about? What are all of these things all about? But there's a bunch of blocks in Minecraft that you've probably never used that can actually work really well for different things. So since we're in the biome section of the world, for instance, why not just there's a bunch of flowers in the game. The game will pretty much never use, and you'll never use, and you'll just never see them in anyone's builds. But why not? Why not try and use them to give your build again flair, to give it some fun, and just to see how it goes. Like, try to be the first person who's used a peony, a pony. Let's call it a pony, even though that's definitely not how you say it. Be the first person to use a pony in a build and be like, okay, so this is going to be my the way this biome transitions into this one is we're going to have some ponies in the way, and that's just they'll slowly fade in and out, and that will vaguely make sense. And again, if you just place them semi-randomly like that, we should in theory end up with this kind of working connection. Like, oh yeah, that actually just about works almost. You could use other blocks, for instance. Let's grab some more random blocks that no one ever uses. Let's use the mushroom stalk, and let's use the, I don't know, like, birch leaves or something, and let's be like, let's make a tree, but let's make a different tree. And honestly, yeah, it's way more fun than making a regular tree, because you can't just use bone meal, and instead we're going to get this weird, unique thing that might just blend in. It probably won't, but, it's the same sort of experimentation thing, where if you want to build something fun and different that you haven't built before, good way to, there's something wrong with this, a good way to start is with one of these, honestly. So maybe if we go all the way around just like that, and then we'll place a few extra blocks like that. Yeah, if you just keep going around, then eventually you'll make something that's like, oh yeah, that's weird, that's different, and it almost just about blends in. If you're building with regular blocks, though, try and just throw in some extra colorful blocks. I made a whole video on blocks you should try. There's, look at how many blocks there is in Minecraft. There's like 600, separate items in Minecraft, and most people stick to the same like 10 or 20, and that is something I find to be one of the biggest shames at all. So yeah, try every single block in here. Try using hay bales. Try using bone blocks. Try using the chorus flowers. Maybe don't try those, but there's a bunch of blocks that you should be trying that you probably are not. So yeah, the final idea as far as like what you should do if you're looking for build inspiration is probably to focus, to try and find inspiration. This is something I feel like most people who talk about building, because there's like people who call themselves builders, right? That's like a thing, and that's I'm sure some of you call yourself builders, but the sorts of builders like I've spoken to before are like, yeah, you never use inspiration, you build from the heart or something, and I think that is terrible advice. Personally, I think like if you're looking for something fun to build, rather than waiting for your heart to tell you what to build, honestly, you can just look it up. Just if you're like, I want to build inspiration. That plug on my channel. I have a bunch of like building ideas videos. Maybe those help you out. Like, would you like to build some pipes? Well, that's a thing. Would you like to build a giant minigame map? I've got this entire world just filled with random stuff I've built and had a lot of fun with. If you want to see some of that, then you can see that. But outside of just my channel, because that's obviously the thing I'd like to say, there's also like give it a Google. Like, I'd like to build like a giant pyramid. Look up some pyramids. Wow, this guy did this thing that's amazing. I want to build animals that don't look like they came out of a weird machine, and that don't look like they have a concerningly low IQ. If you want to build animals like that, you could probably Google it, like custom animals in Minecraft. If you want to build anything, it's probably been done before. Minecraft sold 120 million copies, and you don't have to do exactly the same as those other people, and that's probably not very encourageable. But what you could do is you could try building something like what someone else has built. Maybe you want to build the IBX Toycat logo, but your logo, whatever it is you want to build. There's some form of inspiration out there, and honestly, again, as opposed to what most people will tell you, I really think you should look it up, just because it's better than hoping that it one day strikes you. And one more time, if you do want to check it out on my channel, I've made a bunch of videos, and I've got a giant creative world that I really recommend you check out, because I did a few world tours off it. It's just in the background for my videos, and everything in there I did in roughly an hour or so, because I don't have the time and focus for like 20-hour builds, but I do have the time and focus to make the sorts of stuff that I really enjoyed seeing in the background, and that hopefully all of you did too. But with that said, I hope you did all enjoy today's video. You can like it if you did like it, because it helps out the channel a lot, and lets us know you do like these sorts of videos. Share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you all very much for watching, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this, because building is something I don't foray into very often, but I guess I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.